Next, on a star-studded episode of The Broadway Show, he's one of the stars of Succession, and now he's on Broadway in A Doll's House. We're taking a walk with Arian Moayed, and Killing Eve star Jodie Comer is on the show, talking about her Broadway debut. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show. It's time to be a part of it. New York, New York, now open on Broadway.
If I can make it there, I'd make it anywhere.
Set in 1946, World War II is over, New York City is rebuilding, and dreams are big. It's inspired by the 1977 film by Martin Scorsese and the iconic music of Kander and Ebb, and new lyrics from Lin-Manuel Miranda. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Grand Central Station is one of the most beautiful and iconic New York City landmarks. I'm here today to catch Colton Ryan as he passes through this fabled hall on his way to Broadway. His train should be pulling up any minute. Hey man.
Hey man.
How are you?
Welcome to my stomping grounds, huh?
This is, right? You literally are a commuter.
Yeah.
You are in a big splashy new musical, New York, New York. I've actually loved this movie for a long time.
Have you?
Yes, I'm one of those handful of people that knows the movie really.
A vocal minority.
It's very different, but I'm just so thrilled that you are in a big Broadway musical. And how are you feeling?
I'll be honest, to come back to Broadway in this fashion, I definitely didn't expect. I didn't expect to tap on Broadway maybe ever. But yeah, to do it all in this big splashy way is pretty wild.
So you're actually living up in Westchester?
Yes.
With your fiance?
Ironically enough, the minute I took a show that screams, I love this city, I run away.
I did a little research.
Okay.
During rush hour,
Hard-hitting journalism, okay.
Every 58 seconds, a different train pulls up. This is literally another 100 people. When you're coming through here, you probably sometimes don't even look up at the beautiful Beaux Arts architecture.
No, I do actually. This has been like a big talking point amongst our creative team and me, because this is a big part of the show. And I always look up now because supposedly there's this one tile that is on one of these sides.
Oh, what they didn't restore?
Yes, that is
darker.
it's totally black.
Yeah.
And I have not yet to find it.
It's up there.
Where? You found it immediately? That's so embarrassing.
Right
Where?
There, on the right, just to the left of the, see that?
You mean that little black piece right there? Yeah. That's that?
Yeah, that's it. But what I do really want to see, forget the dirty tiles, I want to visit what's called the Whispering Gallery, which plays an important part in your show.
Yes.
So can we head over there and check it out?
Lead the way.
Okay, cool. Jimmy and Francine. Have a moment. It's actually a big scene in the show.
It's a big, it's a big, beautiful hushed
moment.
new song.
Yeah.
It's, this is, I only bring it up because it's wild to me. Because John, Kander, is...
You know him. He knows you. What?
I'm pinching myself still, yes, but he's 96 years old. And this man presented that song to me, that Whispering Arch moment. I'll never forget. They sat me down, and John sat at the piano, and Lynn stood in front of the piano and, to me, sang this song. And of course, I'm a puddle. I'm just a total wreck. He always says a life in the theater is the luckiest life anyone could ever live.
Look where we have arrived. One of us is going to stay here.
Yeah.
One of us is going to go over there.
Those are the direct lines from the show. Good for you.
You can, it is?
That's what I say, yeah. I'm going to stand over here. You stand over here, and I'm going to stand over there.
Can you hear me at all right now?
Wait, yes.
I can hear you.
This feels deeply intimate, actually.
Oh, that's why they wrote a whole scene about it in the show.
That's true.
Do you think John Kander and Lin-Manuel Miranda stood in these corners and whispered?
I think they went note for note, line for line in these corners.
Hey, look, we're in Central Park on Bow Bridge.
Of all places.
It's
almost as if...
This is also in the show. Briefly.
Yes,
not as
almost
much
as if it's in the show and we plan to come here.
It did, yeah. It's a little on the nose. Well, this is actually
gorgeous.
161 years old. It is the longest bridge in all Central Park.
Really?
It's in a lot of movies.
And musicals now?
And musicals.
Yeah.
And it's shaped like an archer's bow.
Really?
Yeah. It's not bow. It's not for taking bows. I know you've done that. You take bows every night. It's not Bow Bridge, it's Bow Bridge.
This is really embarrassing, but at the beginning, I would have to go through all the things, and I was like, New York's filled with incredible places. Oh, you gotta go to Bow Bridge. And I could feel all of them being like, yuck. Oh. My New York card was almost revoked a couple times for that one.
44th Street, your home away from home.
My home away from home, John's Pizzeria.
It's not about John's Pizzeria, it's about
Oh, that.
that.
Oh, that.
Look at that, the St. James Theater, be a part of it.
That's good. They're going to pay you for that.
Doing this show is exciting, but also hearing you're doing the St. James Theater is exciting. You said when you came to New York, this was your neighborhood. You were in Dear Evan Hansen, made your Broadway debut, covering the role of Evan. And I mean, this is your hood, Broadway.
Well, this to me is like, in a lot of ways, like my university. Like, this is my college.
Yeah.
I come around here and I see people that I knew from a different life, or that like knew a different me, essentially, not fully formed me. And this, in every way, I'm most proud of because it's just, I actually know who I am now, and I think that registers in the show and in the work and all that.
Yeah.
And so it's really lovely because I see all these people from the block, and they're all just like, hey, how you been, man? Like, and my shoulders are not up here anymore. They're a little closer to the earth. I love that they see that in me, and it's such like a homecoming in a way that I don't think a lot of people know, but that definitely feels inside for me, very spiritually. Like, this is my big declaration of like, I'm home.
It's pandemonium on Broadway this spring. The international comedy sensation Peter Pan Goes Wrong. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The magic of Peter Pan going horribly, hilariously wrong. And Neil Patrick Harris is back on Broadway for a limited time only. We caught up with the stars opening night.
I love being on Broadway. It's fun to be back. I'll tell you what excites me most about Peter Pan Goes Wrong. The anticipation that comedy is about to unfold, and then your mind being shattered by how much more comedy happens and transpires. It is non-stop, relentless comedy on multiple levels at multiple times.
There's so much physical comedy going on. There's a revolving stage that goes out of control. There's people falling through windows, and all the magic of Peter Pan, people flying into walls. It really is a kind of huge comedy spectacle, but with a lot of heart as well. And you find out a lot about the Cornley Drama Society, which is the drama society putting on the show. So it's a really good fun show. Hello.
To think that we did the show like over a decade ago with sort of no money, and we were like going through the night, like putting the set together and then rehearsing during the day and just hoping that people might enjoy it. And now it's come all this way. It's quite overwhelming sometimes. So I try, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be here with some of my best friends with a show that I helped to make.
Whether you're with your kids or your parents, it is nonsense of the highest level.
It's time to take a walk with a Broadway star, so let's send it out to Charlie Cooper.
Arian, we're walking to work, but I got to pick you up from the Waterwell headquarters.
That's right. We're here in Midtown Manhattan, where Waterwell, the nonprofit community organizing art and education company that I co-founded, is situated. So I'm glad to walk with you from there.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. I feel like you've just been so busy. You've had a lot going on with the Dollhouse revival. You have Succession. You have all of the things.
Yeah.
A film coming out
That's
soon.
true.
How are you just woosahing? And you're seriously.
You know, it's a lot of it is just a great group of people that you get to work with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work. A lot of it's also just, I've had the privilege of being on Succession, you know, since the beginning really, and having that come to a close. You know, when those moments happen, when something comes to a close, something else opens up. And I'm kind of like vibing that right now. And so that's kind of been nice to end Succession and go right into a Doll's House.
It's a really interesting piece. I mean, it's stripped down. The show is completely stripped down. And I want to know a little bit about how you're able to bring the audience into the space. The story is obviously very like deep and heavy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, how you're able to bring the audience in.
You know, when you come in to see a Doll's House on Broadway with no set, no anything.
No props.
No props, nothing. But you have Jessica Chastain sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
And that's turning around on set on this like one movable donut that just keeps turning and turning. I think everyone starts like really honing in that we're gonna get something like very spiritual today. I haven't been into a room where 1,000 people are that quiet. Sometimes you have audiences that are looking at some of the, you know, stuff that's happening between Torvald, the character that I'm playing, and Jessica, and having like really audible like gasps. So every night when we're out there, we're actually trying to kind of like as a unit of these 1,000 people in the room, kind of like experience what we're going to experience together.
Right.
What's also amazing is if there is like the tiniest of cell phone that goes off, the entire audience is like, I'm ready to pounce on that person. So they're like completely like, are you kidding me right now? That's amazing.
Oh my God, look who it is.
Well, I just saw you the other day. Oh, surprise, surprise.
I know, crazy.
I video bombed you. I didn't need to. I'm also working.
What does it feel like, though, to make this walk every day and to know that you're a part of such a powerful play?
It's surreal. I mean, it's just surreal. I moved to the city in 2002, and I remember I came to Times Square on the first day that I moved here, and I looked up and I was like, oh, this is not gonna happen. Because it just seemed powerful, just like overpowering.
We're here.
Hello.
Look who's on the door.
Wow.
I mean,
That is a big picture.
we were talking about things that don't get old. This does not get old.
That does not get old. I mean, it's just so crazy. It really does feel surreal.
Well, thank you for letting us walk you throughout
Thank
the neighborhood, and
you.
especially to work.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you a hug.
You. Absolutely.
Bye, my love.
Bye. Good luck tonight.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna use my own door.
We're celebrating another huge opening night on Broadway. Killing Eve star Jodie Comer is now on Broadway for the first time. It's an intimate and heart-wrenching story of a woman dealing with the fallout of a sexual assault. We talked to Jodie Comer on opening night.
Turning fear into trust, I think, has been a big thing for me in this experience. Trusting in myself. You know, some things that you learn are so personal in that sense, and this production feels so kind of sacred in that way. But I think the biggest thing is like to find trust within myself. Of course, it's all a dream of all of us to be on Broadway. Like, I never would have imagined this ever in my life. So the fact that I'm here, I'm just like, pinch. But yeah, I think the more people that get to see it, the better.
This play is really for all women and all young men and all older women. And I think really what it is saying, let's have a conversation about this. Let's actually make change happen.
I read the play and I suddenly went, I have to be a part of this conversation. As a male, within the context of this conversation, I think it's really important because ultimately, for me, it's a male issue. We have to change the way that we are, and my community needs to find a different way to be within the context of the world.
This is a Broadway show, and we're back in just a few. All Shucks, it's Broadway's new farm-to-table fable, the hilarious new musical comedy Shucked. We got to know one of that musical's amazing stars, Caroline Innerbichler.
Hi, I'm Caroline Innerbichler, and I play Maisie in Shucked on Broadway. My parents were always playing music in my house, all types of genres, and there was like never a quiet moment in our house, just always listening to music, and a lot of that was Broadway soundtracks. And then my parents would always take me and my sister to see local theater in Minnesota. We went to our local high school and supported those productions when we were really little, and that was a huge part of my parents showing us our community that we lived in, and that became really important for me. My first musical that I did was a production of Annie in the summer theater. There were auditions posted in my 5th grade music class, and they said, we're looking for little girls to play the orphans in Annie and come in and sing a song and audition. And I went in and just got into the ensemble of orphans when I was, like 9 years old. From that point on, like the bug had just bit me and I couldn't get enough of it. I loved it. I definitely knew from a very, very young age, probably within the first couple of professional productions I did, that this is what I wanted to do. I was all the way in. I took it very seriously and worked really, really hard at it. It's a certain challenge to play an ingenue because I think a lot of people write off ingenues as being, the character that cries within, 3 pages. I think we're seeing a lot of ingenues be written differently now. Maisie is a more complex character. She makes mistakes, and we get to watch her process how to make good on those. We get to watch her struggle with the decisions that she's made, be stubborn. I think it's interesting to see a character that's less cookie cutter at the center of a story like this. Any advice I'd give to a young performer wanting to pursue this life, find your people and keep them close. Give them the same support that they give you. That chosen family, that built up community is what keeps me going and keeps me sane, down to earth, grounded, and happy and joyful.
The Thanksgiving play is on Broadway this spring. It's a new comedy satire from Native American playwright Larissa FastHorse. We caught up with the stars on opening night.
It's been a real eye-opener for me. It's not stated, but I sort of play the bad guy, if you will, in the play. And I read that in my first perusing of it, and I didn't get it. It was all about this straight white male stuff, and I'm so tired of it. And I gave the play to my wife, and 30 minutes later, she was like, "It's the funniest thing I've ever read." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, the idea behind the play about the history of Thanksgiving and the kind of misnomers that we have about the beginning of this country can be daunting for people, especially when they're going into the theater. Are we going to be preached at? Are we going to be yelled at? And this play is 89 minutes of laughter. So all of that education, all of that information is delivered with a big spoonful of sugar.
There's really a lot of big ideas in the show that Larissa basically didn't want to explain anything, didn't want to answer the questions, but she wanted people to leave asking questions. And so I think we really achieved that in a very humorous, fun kind of way.
It was Larissa's script. I read it in one little gulp and was like, oh boy, okay. This is intense, this is hilarious. Can I, could I, should I? And then the next morning I met with Rachel and just knew. Everything was like, yeah. It was like every piece of it made sense for me and it was, as they say, a no-brainer.
Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsen. Playwright Larissa FastHorse is making her Broadway debut with the Thanksgiving play, a satirical comedy that skewers the mythology of the holiday. I spoke with her at the Hayes Theater. You have committed so much of your career to telling the stories of Indigenous people, and here we have a show with 4 white people.
Yes.
Tell me about that decision.
Yeah, it honestly was a strategic decision. Originally, I was having a really hard time getting my plays produced more than once because I did have Native American casts and people kept saying they were uncastable. I know that's not true. Many of us knew that wasn't true, but I just couldn't seem to break through that barrier. So I gave myself the challenge of writing a play about 4 white presenting people that still deal with all the issues of contemporary indigeneity that I'm experiencing and that people in my community are experiencing. First it was a challenge, I was kind of upset, but once I wrote the play, I loved the play. It really says all the things that I wanted to say, and it deals with the issues I wanted to deal with, but just with these 4 beautiful people.
Here we are.
I know, welcome to our set.
So we're in a classroom. Mm-hmm. So what was the germinal idea for this play?
Ooh, yeah, so this play was, after I gave myself that challenge to, make it with 4, non-Indigenous people, I then had to think, well, what is it that is something honestly beloved, something we all know that feels very American in a lot of ways that also pertains to Indigenous issues, and Thanksgiving was just obvious. And so I started doing research on Thanksgiving and thinking about the world I work in, which is mostly a liberal, well-meaning group of folks and predominantly white still. And I started thinking about, well, what are the things they're struggling with? What are the things I'm struggling with them? And then how do we wrap all that around this really recognizable moment, which is Thanksgiving? But also is meant to be fun, so I wanted it to be something that everyone can laugh at, and everyone can laugh at each other. Nobody gets away from this play without being laughed at in some way.
Do you feel that certain lines land differently with different people?
Oh, absolutely, and they're intended to. You know, I have lines in there that are specifically for my Native American folks, and when that line comes up, I can say, oh, there they are. There's certain lines that are definitely for like your educators or for your theater people or for people that want to laugh at educators and theater people, you know. But then I also have certain jokes, like the very first joke is what I call the unifying joke. It's the very first joke of the show. Within the first minute or two, couple minutes, is a unifying joke that has nothing to do with race, socioeconomic status, education, theater, whatever. It's just a really funny joke. And so that we know that it's all a safe space to laugh together.
That's going to do it for us, but until next time, check out The Broadway Show Uncut wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.